Hello everyone, Tina here. Welcome to PhotoPlay's YouTube channel and welcome to Tuesdays with Tina. My name is Tina Smith and I'm super excited to share a project with you for PhotoPlay's Say It with Stamps collection. Today we're going to be using the Catch a Falling Star stamp set. It's a large 6x8 stamp set that has adorable little mice in here. I fell in love with them because they're so cute. And then there's a buffet of sentiments that you can customize with the star and the stars. Like, for example, you can add "You are a star," "Welcome little star," "Love you more than all the stars," and I just love that in the stamp set. We're going to be using the coordinating die to go with it. In today's project, I thought we would make a mini slimline. So we're going to use our number 6 dies along with our mini slimline cards. So let's jump in and do some stamping. We are going to start by stamping one of the images in here. And I fell in love. Let me get some white cardstock here. But I fell in love with this little mouse on the moon. I just think he's so precious, or she. So that's what we're going to stamp. And I'm just going to go ahead and use an acrylic block, and I'm going to be stamping on some alcohol marker friendly cardstock. I'm going to be coloring in my image with my alcohol markers, and so you want to make sure that your ink is alcohol marker friendly also. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start by stamping our first image, which is adorable. Look how cute. And then we have some stars. I have the one that has 3, and then I have a larger star, and then I also have a smaller one. And all of these, the nice thing is there's coordinating dies for them. Now that we have our image stamped, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I am going to go ahead and play a little bit of music while I color, and when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, my coloring is all done, and I just think this little sweet mouse is precious. Let's go ahead and take the coordinating die set, and we will go ahead and die cut out our images. It's nice because all the stars you can die cut out also. Let's tape these down. Now our images are all die cut out. We are going to set these aside, and now we're going to work on our background. Now what we're going to do is do a little bit of die cutting. I'm going to be using the Say It With Stamps Falling Leaves cover plate. This has pierced detail, and it is so pretty. I'm going to use this for my background. I wanted a little bit of this peeking around my card base. So I will run this through my die cutting machine face down. And then I have a piece of white cardstock and a piece of blue cardstock. For the white cardstock, I'm using the Say It With Stamps Nested Bookplate die set. Oh my gosh, I love this because this is great for so many things. This makes great bookmarks, but it also makes great shaker cards because you can layer them together, and it also makes great frames. And I wanted to create a frame today, so I'm taking the the 2 second largest dies, and I'm going to die cut a frame out of my white cardstock. And a little tip, when I nip these apart, I left the little metal edges on here because this creates a great center point. If you like to create frames, line up your those notches on your dies that you would normally nip off, and it will be centered every time. You line up the bottom and the top. So that's what we're going to do with the white cardstock. And then I'm going to take the largest and die cut a background with the blue cardstock. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'll run my cover plate through also. Okay, I ran everything through my die cutting machine, and I love the way this cover plate looks. You can see the pierced detail. I'm hoping the camera will pick it up. For my card, you're only going to be able to see a little bit around it, but I think that little bit adds a whole bunch. And then you can see the frame that we created. There is stitch detail, which I love, and I created a background for my panel. So it's basically going to go like this. First, what we're going to do is take our card base and get this going. I'm going to be using the Say It With Stamps number 6 blank note card set. This is a very, very cost-effective set, and these slimline cards are pre-scored for you, so all you need to do is fold them in half, and it's a heavyweight cardstock, guys. And the measurements for this are 3.5 inches wide by 6.25 inches tall, and it fits the cover plates perfectly, so no measuring needed. I am going to use my bone folder to reinforce this score line. There's 10 in the back too, guys. Great value. Now what we're going to do is take I'm leaving this white. I'm going to flip this around and use my tape runner, and we're going to adhere this directly to our card front. Now after we have this done, I am going to do a little bit of ink blending on my background, but before I do my ink blending, I want to go ahead and heat emboss my sentiment. So I am going to go ahead and lightly place my frame, and for my sentiment, I'm going to be using the Shine Bright Little Star. I want to make sure I have it centered, so that's why I'm going to put my frame over the top. I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom. And then I'm going to go over this with my white embossing powder. Tap off the excess. And I'm going to go ahead and melt this with my heat gun. Once I have my Shine Bright Little Star all nice and melted, I'm going to bring in some inks, and we are going to do a little bit of ink blending to create a really nice night sky. I love doing this, and so I have a black ink and a blue. Blue ink you want darker than your paper, and I'm just going to start off with my blue ink, and I'm going to basically go around all the edges of my panel. This is going to give my background a very, like a halo effect, a little glow. And I am going to go up above the sentiment. Now once we have our blue all around the edges, I'm going to go in with my black ink And we are going to continue to go around the edges, kind of making sure that some of that blue that we just added is right in the front of that. I think this creates a really pretty night sky, and I think that looks good. I might need to add a little bit more blue ink. Kind of blend them together a bit. Okay, and I think that's going to work out perfect. I'm going to use a towel, and I'm going to buff away the ink from my heat embossed area so it comes back nice and bright. Let's buff that away a little bit more. Okay, once our background is done, what we're going to do next is take our, this is the Say It With Stamps Shooting Star stencil. I love the size of this because this is a great stencil for all sorts of different size cards. I just want a little trail of stars along the side here. I'm going to go ahead and use some white ink, and I just wanted a very a faded star background. You're not going to be able to see it too much, but you'll still know it's there, especially along the darker edges. And I think that's going to, well, maybe a little bit more over here. Okay, and that's with my white ink. And then we have some very small faint stars in our background. I just think that's going to work out perfectly. Now we have our frame. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and I'm going to use my glue. Sometimes when you have an ink background like this, glue will work better than a tape runner. So let's line this up. It's going to line up beautifully because they're the same size. So our background is all nice and finished. I'm going to flip around my panel and bring in some adhesive backed foam. I'm just going to remove the release paper and add this to our background panel. And then we can add this to our card base. This is going to go right in the center. And I think that stitch detail along our book plate goes perfect with the stitch detail. It's just barely showing from our cover plate die. Now we're going to add our cute little elements. I am going to use some foam adhesive. We'll remove the release paper. Lovely. We'll add our stars. We'll add our small one over here. And how cute is that? And then last but not least, because it is a night background, I do want to add a little bit of sparkle in here. So to do that, I'm going to add some silver glitter, just some very small drops in the background. And when this dries, there's just going to be a touch of sparkle in this background that when the light catches it, it's going to look like a starry night sky. That finishes my project for today. I hope you enjoyed my projects. Everything is listed down below. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.